We have got Liz Walker with us, and we are talking about buyer representation and kind of a new thing. Well, it's not new, but it's something that has become more popular in the last 10 years, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because people would normally just call the agency that has the listing and just use that agency. And I think buyer representation actually started coming around formally. It was like 12 or 13 years ago, something like that. So. But it's important because buyer brokers know things like 1031 exchanges. That's a program where if you sell one vacation property, you put the money in escrow with a lawyer, let a lawyer know that you're going to do that, and then you use that money within X amount of days to buy another second home, and you save yourself on the taxes, on the transfer tax. Another thing is a withholding tax. If you are a resident, a full-time resident from another state, and you're buying a property in Maine, you're selling a property in Maine, there's a 2.5% withholding tax that you have to pay at the closing. But that tax can be deferred if you fill out the paperwork ahead of time with a lawyer, and you don't have to pay that tax. I don't have any clients that have applied for that have not been approved for it.
Wow.
So it's little tips like that when you use a buyer broker that they're like, okay, I've done this 100 times and I know that this is the hurdle that we're going to come to, and when we get here, these are your choices. These are the things that you can do, and depending on what kind of an outcome the buyer wants, or the seller wants, or whatever it may be. But an active broker that's in the market, that's moving properties in one area, a lot of people, not a lot of people, but we've had a few buyers that come up and they have brokers from southern Maine or whatever it may be because it's their friend or, that has a real estate license. Right, or it's a brother or whatever it may be. That's fine. You can do that. But the only downfall to that is that broker may not be aware of a plumbing issue or a roof issue or an association fee, or that the fact that an association was just put together. They may not be aware of that. And those brokers, you can use that broker and you can do that, or that broker could refer you to a local broker in this area, and that broker would still get paid. So there's a referral fee that can be done in a situation like that, but it really depends on what you're looking for, what you want your result to be.
Sounds like it's a happy balance if you have representation as both a buyer or a seller. That kind of
really
balances things off, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. And I just lost my train of thought, but
yep.
Yeah. Anyways, but I've had buyers that have come up here and they've looked at, in 3 hours, we've looked at 24 properties.
Really?
Yeah.
Jeez.
And we'll set up the appointments and I'll send them the list and I'm like, okay, this is what we're going to do on Saturday. And they're like, are we really going to get through all of those properties? And if the buyer wants to do it, I don't mind doing it, because it's, really, when you go into a property, you either know that you want it or you don't. And especially here on the mountain, when you see 2 snowflowers, you've seen them all. They may be decorated a little bit differently or staged a little bit differently, but they're pretty much built the same.
Yeah.
So it only takes, 10, 15 minutes to go through a condo. You can, go through a bunch of those, and it doesn't take that long to go through them. And then, or you may like the location of a condo, like a fall line or something like that, but then you get into it and you're like, no, I'm not really crazy about how skinny the hallway is, or how, and then you find that they're all built like that. So it doesn't take long to go through things and know what you like or know what you don't like. And I've done it long enough that when you know when a buyer has found their property.
Right.
You know when they go into it, they like it. The showing takes an hour. You're in there. You're thinking about where the furniture is going to go. You're taking pictures. You're calling mom. Right,
you can tell, right?
Yeah, you can tell. It's exciting, and it's always great when you're able to put that together. And like I said earlier, I'm not able to put that together right now for 2 buyers. I have 2 different buyers that want a perfect ski-in, ski-out condo. They're looking at the $300,000 range, which you would think that would be pretty simple to, find a condo, ski in, ski out at $300,000, but it's not. We haven't found the perfect one yet. So, and it's, that's the harder property to get because it's the hotter property. It's what everybody wants.
Sure,
ski in, ski out. That's why we all come to Sugarloaf, because we want that location.
So call Liz Walker if you are looking for buyer representation or seller representation, or you're looking to come up and look at some places. You don't have to look at 10. You probably could pick 3 and know that you had a pretty good shot at that.
Yeah,
wouldn't you?
exactly. Yeah,
thank
you
you
would.
so much for
Thank
being
you
here.
for
We
having me.
appreciate it.
Yep.
Liz Walker, and give her a call, and it is buyloaf.com. That's a website. Liz Walker, thanks for joining us this morning. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back with more.